Hello and welcome to the Castle Rock News. Today we have a variety of top stories reaching us from all over the globe. First, starting with the gender equality, over to Ebony and Karen.
Thank you, Eve and Ashley. Today we'll be talking about gender equality. You may have thought that men and women were equal. However, the rights of women are still being discriminated against because of their gender all across the world.
Here in the UK, gender equality is not obvious compared to other countries in the world. Due to the suffragette movement in the 19th century, women have been given equal rights. Despite this, there are still issues regarding pay and salary, as males still statistically earn more than women. For example, at age 30, both men and women have experienced a wage growth of almost exactly 60%, meaning the typical man will be earning $43,000 and typical woman will be earning $54,000.
Leading on from this point, in a male-dominated job, such as electricians, there are fewer women than men by a large amount. Due to this, women feel obliged to do jobs just as teachers and hairdressers because of sexism.
An example of this is quoted from a female electrician who doesn't feel like she's getting the same training and assistance as the other male employees. She states, "I feel like even though my work is of a high standard, my boss consistently criticizes me and shouts at me where he does not bully the men in this way. A new male apprentice has started at work and is receiving much more one-to-one training and assistance. I asked for the same training which I need in order to complete my apprenticeship, but my boss called me a stupid little girl and said that if I couldn't do the job properly, I should leave."
Aside from this, gender discrimination happens all around the world to different age groups of people. For example, Malala, you may know her as the girl who got shot by the Taliban on her way to school because they didn't believe that girls should be educated. However, Malala doesn't want to be known as that girl. She wants to be known as the girl who fought for her and others to be educated. She should be known for the brave young woman she is. For at the age of 15 to 16, she stood up to her own country to encourage the rights of women and young girls. Malala once said, "I want every girl, every child to be educated." This quote shows that after all the fighting, Malala simply wants children to be educated all around the world.
Joining the global women's rights is many celebrities who have put forward their opinion on the subject, one being Emma Watson, who made a speech contributing her thoughts on gender equality. In the speech she mentioned her involvement with charity for women's rights and that she's trying to stop it. Emma Watson also is a feminist, and throughout the speech she depicts her definition of what it is. She can on to say that throughout her life there had been many elements that she classes as discrimination to the rights of women. One quote from her dialogue is, "The human race is like a bird and needs both wings to fly. And at that moment, one of its wings are clipped, and we're never going to be able to fly as high. This means that men and women need to work together in life to be able to accomplish day-to-day events. By doing this, they will solve gender equality. If males relied on their own gender, then they wouldn't be able to complete certain tasks to its fullest."
In conclusion, gender equality and discrimination against women's rights needs to be resolved for the world to be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you for all the information on that. Now over to Ellie and Libby discussing their interview with the Bye Rivers.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Eve.
These are crucial times for Leicester band By the Rivers. The band's frontman, Niall Barrow, is preparing for the band's all-important second album. A quieter gigging season and new material is what we can expect from By the Rivers in the coming months.
The personal highlight from the band's lead singer, guitar player and frontman, Niall Barrow. He quoted, "Probably Glastonbury, it's one of the biggest places, we won't be forgetting that one anytime soon. We're just very passionate about the music and we want to share it with other people."
The band's new album is the main focus. A lot of time will be invested in the studio. The new album is going to be more upbeat with a positive vibe to all the tracks, with a more mature sound than the successful first album.
Niall also added, "It's what me and Jordan both grew up listening to. Jordan Birtles, the drummer, grew up with Niall. They both enjoyed listening and playing reggae music equally, and it evolved into a band. Later, other members joined the band. We want to put our own slant on everything we do."
Niall also added that every member of the band is ready to get back into the studio. He is optimistic about the future. There's a lot to be said about the effort put in by people like By the Rivers, sacrificing every weekend touring around Europe, when people can overtake so easily by appearing on talent shows. By the Rivers have earned their fame.
Thank you, Ellie and Libby. Now to Ash and Ryan speaking about the Wayne Rooney knockout.
Thanks, Eve and Ash. Wayne Rooney, the famous number 10 and captain for Manchester United and the England national team, was knocked out by ex-teammate and friend Phil Barsley, right back for Stoke City and the Scotland national team.
Bardsley and Rooney were on a lads' night in, having a boxing match in the kitchen, when Bardsley threw a left-hand jab which knocked Rooney out. This event has been described as a bit of banter between them.
Later on, in the week after the video has been viewed over 330,000 times, Man United had a big game against Tottenham Hotspur where they were winning 2-0. Rooney scored the game ender with a nice calm finish.
Unexpectedly, when Manchester United defeated Tottenham Hotspur 3-0, the deciding goal scored by Wayne Rooney, the third goal, celebrated in a rather humorous way by going to the corner flag and throwing 4 or so punches, then falling to the ground. Back to you in the studio. Now over to Jess and Izzy talking about some local news involving Sheena McHugh.
Thanks Ash, thanks Eve. We are here to talk about up-and-coming star Sheena McHugh.
So the question is, our talent shows the way forward. 26-year-old Sheena McHugh from Colburn is currently competing on the talent show The Voice in order to promote her singing career.
On the 28th of February, Sheena performed live at her old school, Castle Rock. She opened with Shares Believe and Journeys Don't Stop Believing. To the audience, she didn't appear nervous, but when later asked by students, she admitted to being more nervous about coming to her old school than performing on national TV, because students are more honest.
Before The Voice, Sheena made an appearance on The X Factor, where she got through to boot camp and was awarded one of the 6 C's, but later got it taken off her. Sheena was determined not to give up though.
When asked which was better by one of the students, she responded with the obvious answer of The Voice, saying it's all about the voice so it's more real. With the rise of reality TV talent competitions, many undiscovered artists turn to national television to get their big break. However, this leaves the question, is it the best way?
Stars that have made their voice heard from talent competitions, like Ollie Murs and One Direction, would agree that it is. However, up-and-coming band By the Rivers may disagree and say that gigging and touring is the best and most genuine way to make yourself known.
However, another way of getting yourself known is on the social media website YouTube. Bands like 5 Seconds of Summer got their first tour around Australia when their YouTube channel was viewed by many. Subsequently, they were then asked to be the supporting act for One Direction, which led to even more fame. Some might argue 5 Seconds of Summer received most of their fame from One Direction, who came about through the talent show The X Factor. So really, what is the best way to make yourself known?
Sheena was so determined to make herself successful that she sung covers on YouTube before auditioning for talent competitions. Either way, both ways have been proven successful if you are determined and work hard.
Support Sheena as she competes in the quarterfinals of The Voice on the 22nd of March on BBC One.
Thank you for that, Jess and Izzy. Now to Rebecca and Millie talking about Sam Smith's new lifestyle.
Thank you, Ash and Eve.
Today we are talking about celebrity gossip, and today's main focus is Sam Smith's £14 weight loss. All thanks to the publisher of Eat Nourish Glow, Amelia Freer.
Yesterday, Sam Smith took to Instagram to show off his slender new body, holding his Treasured Nutrition book by Amelia Freer. Sam Smith expressed his feelings about the weight loss. 3 weeks ago, I met a woman who has changed my life. Amelia Freer has helped me to lose over a stone in 2 weeks and has been completely transformed my relationship with food.
A young musician from London who was awarded 4 Grammys and 2 Brits, and he's been flying high since his appearance in the music industry. The 22-year-old has admitted to trying to fight his weight since childhood.
Many people think his weight loss is due to peer pressure from fans encouraging him to lose weight.
Speaking to The Guardian in August 2014, he said, "I think I prefer food to singing. It's really good, isn't it? Food is my favourite thing in the world. I always say if I ate what I actually wanted to eat, I'd be in one of those electric scooters because I'd be too big."
Sam Smith had a rough childhood, being bullied for being gay and quite overweight as a teenager. His father became a fitness trainer to start his new appearance.
Sam slimming down made him lose the power to make good music. He said, "I tried to lose weight and I was making awful music. It was when I started to become myself that the music flowed."
Finally, his fans has made some comments, and here are some of them.
He has probably been ordered to lose weight by his record company.
He loves himself far too much. The amount of vanity in his Instagram account is disturbing.
He looks good with the extra pounds. The problem is, if you lose too much weight, you start looking ill. Oh well, hope he's happy, and that is what matters.
Oh, Sam, well done. And your dad sounds awesome.
Many people are saying that Sam's weight
Loss is great. Victory for him. But others have other opinions, saying that it will have a bad influence on youngsters and teenagers.
Thank you.
Now to Ellie, Imogen and Eve, talking about a major story hitting the headlines.
you even Ash.
Toxic smog hits UK.
Britain has been put on health alert due to a potential harmful cloud of air pollution travelling from Europe.
People with conditions such as asthma have been advised to take a huge amount of care and always carry their inhalers.
The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said that the air was mixing with homegrown smog to create a toxic hazard.
In some parts of England, the pollution will reach moderate levels. In northern areas, it will reach a 9 out of 10.
Kay Boycott, Chief Executive of Asthma UK, said that 2/3 of sufferers find air pollution makes them worse and increase the risk of potentially fatal attacks.
Evidence from China in Beijing shows that the toxic smog has huge effects on the environment.
It doesn't help that Beijing have a staggering 1,000 new cars added to their roads every day.
The effects of the toxic smog are that people find it very hard to breathe, and there's been a rise in asthma cases recently.
The UK hasn't been the only part of the world that has been affected. As well as air pollution being so bad in Paris that the French government have been forced to enforce restrictions on motorists.
The good news is that the smog levels in the UK are predicted to fall by Friday morning to allow people to view the eclipse of the sun in 15 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now over to Tom and Tom for our final report on the World Cup coming up in 7 years.
Thanks, Eve and Ash. Now, since the 2022 World Cup was announced to be staged in Qatar, controversy has hit the whole of the world.
For a long time there was a big debate about which months this prestigious competition should be played in throughout the year. This is because of the searing heat of the Qatar sun, with temperatures virtually certain to hit the heights of 45 degrees C in the summer, the usual time for the World Cup to be played in.
And now that it has been decided that it will be played in the winter because it has been ruled unsafe for players to be playing in the summer heat, we tried to see what effects this would have on the football clubs, who traditionally have always played their seasons in the coldest months.
The Premier League have still not warmed to the idea though, and are even more annoyed about the fact Champions League schedule will be piled up along with all the postponed Premier League fixtures.
However, UEFA President Michel Platini was angered with the English Premier League's comments, saying it isn't the only competition in the world.
We found opinions of some other football clubs who will be affected by the tournament.
Stoke City spokesperson Fraser Nicholson said the club understand the issues, but they will have to deal with it. He said there really was no alternative. Once they decided they were going to keep the World Cup in Qatar, it had to be a winter game due to the temperature. We've got 7 years to prepare, but I'm sure all the Premier League clubs will be in consultation with the Premier League.
Ex-Leicester City player Steve Walsh also has a view on the winter move. I understand obviously there's been a lot of speculation about the winter move with the climate and the heat. He also joked, as an Englishman, knowing we can't handle the heat, I think we all know the help we all need the help we can get.
Back to the studio.
We'll have to go and sit.
Anyway.
I mean, do you want to give me an answer now? Do you want me to give you an answer now, or
Yeah, that would be alright, thank you.
It's obviously going to have an effect. I mean, there really was no alternative. Once they decided that they were going to keep the World Cup in Qatar, it had to be a winter games due to the temperature. It is going to have an effect, but we've got 7 years to prepare for it, and I'm sure all the clubs will be in consultation with the Premier League, and we'll try and reach a satisfactory conclusion. It's not ideal, but as I say, we have got 7 years to prepare for it. It will have an effect on that season, on the 22-23 season, but it's just something we've got to deal with.
Yeah. Do you have any knowledge on when the fixtures will be moved to?
No idea at this stage, no. It's something that obviously the Premier League will look into. I don't think discussions have started taking place yet, but it's something I'm sure the Premier League will liaise with all the clubs about, and nearer the time, a little bit clearer.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Lovely, no worries, thanks.
Thank you for everyone who tuned into today's top news stories.